Hi, my name is Darren. I'm the co-founder at Empool. I'm going to give you an overview today on developing a website strategy based on the growth-driven design concept. Excuse the slides, they're very simple. I hope the content makes up for those simple slides. If you have any questions, ask them on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Darren Smith. You can also follow me for regular updates on inbound marketing and growth-driven design. So let's get into developing a website strategy. The key components of a website strategy are the goals that you're working towards, the personas you're targeting, the fundamental assumptions you are making, the user journey map, any research that you need to conduct, the wish list of things that you're going to implement. And it can include things, for example, keyword research, competitor audits, and so on. There's a lot of things that can go into a website strategy. These same components can be used to develop an inbound marketing strategy or a digital marketing strategy. So they are they should form the basis of any work you are doing regarding inbound marketing or growth driven design. All right, so moving into the first section around determining goals. We recommend that you start this off with an initial questionnaire soon after the contract has been signed with the client, and that questionnaire is divided into two sections: the goals you want to achieve and where are we today. So when we look at goals we want to achieve, you can first start off with business goals, sales goals, go down into marketing goals, and then finally the website goals. And then you use those same questions that you've asked, and you find out where are they trending today. So we send this soon after the contract has been signed because it often takes the user quite a while to get all this information. And also, if you send this to several different people within a company, you're going to get different types of answers. This is going to allow you to kind of consolidate all the responses, build up some notes and further questions. And when you have your first meeting, you can go and fill in the gaps and find out areas that are misaligned, maybe between two users, or areas that the users didn't fill out. What this will enable you to do is fill out a goals document. Goals document should consist of several areas highlighted here. So first of all is the vision. So what is the long-term view of the world we're trying to create together? So this is really kind of very high level, and it's the overarching purpose of why you're working together. Then choose kind of your focus area. So this should be 1 to 3 levers that will help you reach that big goal that you're working towards. And then for each focus area, have 1 to 3 metrics for that focus area to indicate that you're moving in the right direction. Don't forget to include emissions. So these are things that you will not work on at all. And then last of all, engagement success factors. So these are more kind of touchy-feely things that you want to find out about from your client. What do they value in a partner? And in a year's time, when this initial contract comes to an end, as an example, how will they determine if this relationship was successful? It's very important also, once you understand what their vision is and what you're working towards, is set the expectations of what can be achieved over the next kind of 12 months based on the size of their retainer and the state of their current website and inbound marketing. From your goals documents, you can then move on to a goals forecast, a quarterly forecast, where you essentially take those focus areas and metrics in particular, and you plot what you think what you think you will reach over the next quarter. And never go further than a quarter because it's way too difficult to kind of make a calculated guess as to what you might achieve. So what I'm going to show you here is an example of a goals canvas. You can see at the top here, you've got the engagement vision, which is the overall reason why you partnering. You go into your focus areas here, and each focus area is made up of 3 metrics. These are the goals, the metric that you're trying to reach, and this is the stretch goal. So always really great to have a aspirational stretch goal, the things that you're going to leave out of this engagement, and what does a successful engagement look like for a customer. Similarly, here's the goals forecast. So you take each metric that you have, you indicate what the goal is for January, February, March as an example, and what the overall quarterly goal is, and what your stretch goal is. And then you, at the end of that quarter, you can record what you actually achieved and the difference. And it allows you to kind of start making more and more educated guesses as to the goals that you're trying to reach. Once you've determined your goals, you go into building personas. So most of you will know what a persona is, but just to recap, it's a fictitious character to represent each stakeholder. And what it really does do is help increase empathy and put ourselves in the shoes of that user. And it's amazing to actually, when building out website strategy and looking at the continuous improvement cycle, to actually refer to this persona as much as you can. So in terms of creating personas, we also recommend starting with a questionnaire you send to various people within a company, and you get different perspectives from all those different people. That will then allow you to review your answers, or review their answers, identify the gaps, the areas that they've left out, or maybe where there's different opinions, and that allows you to then hold a constructive persona workshop where you can address those specific areas and fill in these gaps. You may need to go and then do some external interviews with actual personas that they work with, and then finalize your persona document, although remember, it will never be finalized. You will always be updating as personas evolve. You then move on to your fundamental assumptions section. These are the assumptions that you are making for each persona and which your website strategy is going to be based on. So it's really important that you identify what are the high-risk assumptions that you're making. And if there are high-risk assumptions, you need to try and reduce that risk as much as possible by trying to find actual answers to those assumptions you're making, because you don't want to build a website off an incorrect assumption. So for each persona, list the top 3 problems or challenges, then list the solutions to those challenges, then what is the unique value proposition for this particular persona, what are the alternative products or services that this persona could use as opposed to the product or service that you are going to market, then indicate the website metrics that will come directly from your goals document, and then look at what are your persona's pre-sale and post-sale website needs. So before they go and buy your product, and then after they buy your product, what would they need on your website? What information do they need? What triggers their visit? What value do we need to offer them on the website? And what will cause them to come back? Then review everything that you've put out here and identify from everything that you've written down what are those assumptions, and go out and try and validate those assumptions with some research. Here is a canvas you can use. So you've got your persona listed here. You've got your core problems and the solutions that you have to those for this persona. Here's your unique value proposition, the alternatives that the customer has, your website metrics, and then here's your pre-sale website needs and your post-sale website needs. So you review everything that you've put here, and everything that is high risk, you can identify questions you need to ask the users over here, and anything that's low risk, you can also identify questions to ask the user over here. Right, so moving on to the next stage, which is your user or buyer journey mapping. It's you getting a view into the persona's life before, during, and after the engagement with them. It aligns really nicely to the final stage. Final stages of awareness, consideration, decision, and delight, top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom of funnel, whatever you prefer. And it might also be at a product level. So it might be, for example, marketing Mary, and you might be selling a particular product, and the user journey or buyer journey would be different to a different product. So for each, so map out that kind of a linear line, and moving from that awareness stage through to that delight stage, you need to be asking at each stage, what are their considerations? What information do they need? What are the steps they've taken? What are they doing? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are the triggers? How do they investigate, shortlist, or evaluate? Once you've got all that information mapped out on a buyer journey, you can review that journey and list opportunities that you might identify for a website or for marketing purposes, ideas and recommendations. And this is, out of this, there may also be some questions that you have about the user. Record those questions, because when you move into the research stage next, that is where you can go and get answers to those questions. So here's just an example of a user journey canvas. So you can see here's the buying stages. You would replace the step 1, step 2, step 3 by actual words that describe that buying stage. There might be more stages or steps, there might be less. And then here, against positive and negative, you can make little kind of comments around what's happening at that point. What are the decisions being made? What is the information? What are the triggers? How are they feeling? Are they feeling positive? Are they feeling negative? And then below is where you list all your opportunities and ideas and recommendations coming out of this buyer journey that are required on your website or in your marketing. So armed with all this data, you will probably have some questions. So we go into the research stage. So the questions are going to come from your personas, from your fundamental assumptions and your user journeys. And you need to identify the best way to answer these questions. So is it via qualitative research, quantitative research, or observational research? We have a whole training class on different types of research and how to take the things that you need answered and turn them into user questions. So watch that if you want to find out how to do better research. And once you finish that research, you go loop back into your personas, into your fundamental assumptions and user journeys, and complete those documents based on what you have found out. Last of all, you move into your wish list stage. So you will hold a workshop. In that workshop, review the goals that have been set, the personas, the assumptions, and the user journeys, and set some guidelines. Say to your audience, imagine there's unlimited budget and unlimited resource. What are the amazing creative things that you would do to solve the problems? You would then move into brainstorming stage, where you identify pages, modules, content, tools, and any ideas that would solve those problems, address the user journeys, address the personas, the fundamental assumptions, and so on. We recommend using stickies, so arm every single person in the brainstorm with little sticky papers. Let them write their ideas and stick those up onto a whiteboard, and then start grouping them. The reason we recommend this is you don't want somebody with a loud voice or a strong leader in the group to dominate the thinking, which is called groupthink. You really want to get everybody's ideas, and no idea is a bad idea. So once you have all the ideas up, as we said, group them, and you may want to further expand them. For example, someone might have said, we need a careers page. You can then expand on that careers page by saying, we want a culture video, and we want an upload your CV section. From there, as a group, identify the 20% of the items that will make the 80% impact. And then once you've got those 20% items, look at that list again and see what are the nice to haves and what are the must haves. And all those things that are nice to haves, move them back to the top of your wish list. The remaining items are essentially going to make up your Launchpad website. The Launchpad website is the area we're going to talk next about in our training. So head over to our YouTube channel and look for the training on the Launchpad website. As I said before, this is just some simple growth-driven design training, very, very plain slides, as you can see, to help you quickly get that growth-driven design certificate and to really make sense of all these new concepts. Thank you.